This title is narrated with virtual voice, computer-generated narration for audiobooks. Without You, The Tragic Story of Badfinger, by Dan Matovina. Preface. Written in 1999. I can't live if living is without you. I can't live anymore. These immortal words first gained prominence when Harry Nilsson sang them on his recording of the exquisite ballad, Without You, a #1 charting single throughout the world during the year 1972. After further decades of continuing airplay and countless covers, including Mariah Carey's smash hit version in 1994, few have known the irony of these poignantly sad lyrics written by Tom Evans, formerly of the rock group known as Badfinger. Tom's co-author for Without You was his fellow bandmate, Pete Ham. Pete was a musical artist of immense talent, a man whose adept compositions conveyed a rare communicative depth of expression, a man with a uniquely soulful voice, and a distinctively melodic guitar player to boot. In fact, Pete Ham has often been compared to Paul McCartney, John Lennon, and George Harrison. And most impressively, Pete's first 4 compositions to be released as singles, No Matter What, Day After Day, Baby Blue, and the co-written Without You, all became major worldwide hits. Besides, Pete Ham was known as a tremendous person. Everyone who knew Pete liked him, or loved him, a lot. At the age of 27, he took his own life. For almost a decade afterwards, Tom Evans, the enigmatic and emotional bass player of Badfinger, struggled to deal with his best friend's suicide. Tom was an intense man who poured his heart into everything he did. He continued a music career, though fits of depression haunted his every waking minute. Eventually, in a moment of greatly determined passion and sadness, Tom fulfilled the prophecy of Without You, killing himself in exactly the same manner as Pete Ham. What prompted such horrific decisions by these two very talented young men? This book attempts to answer that question, and to clear up some of the myths and mysteries which have long surrounded Badfinger, the very first act to sign with the Beatles' Apple Records. For example, what kept this group from becoming hugely successful after they seemed so well poised to break out in 1973? They'd had a solid track record for 3 years running. They'd recently signed a multi-million-dollar contract with Warner Brother Records. One more hit could have vaulted them into superstar status. Instead, they rapidly descended into oblivion. And sadly, the shams and decadence which encircled their domain have continued on well after the deaths of Pete and Tom. Badfinger's story basically begins in the early 60s, in the city of Swansea, South Wales. As a group called the Ivies, the band members were brought to London during the year 1966. Their manager, Bill Collins, got them rolling, but they soon began to struggle under his tentative and inexperienced hands. In 1968, the Beatles' trusted roadie, Mal Evans, stepped up to help. Then the Beatles themselves wanted them. Next came a deal with Apple Records and a hit 45, Come and Get It, written by Paul McCartney. The group's lives seemed to be moving merrily along. But with their waters stirred, the sharks soon started to arrive. A new business manager and the presence of a girl caused friction to the band's overall unity. Their core disintegrated, and Pete Ham, the sensitive backbone of Badfinger, became despondent. Pete trusted like few others have. He cherished the values of loyalty, peace, and respect for one's fellow man, but balked heavily at the concepts of cruelty, deceit, and manipulation. Pete Ham could not bear to lash out at other human beings, and very rarely did so. He desired that harmony and love dominate his domain, but the pressures of Pete's life muddled his mind, and his susceptible nature became overwhelmed. On an early April morning in 1975, he committed suicide. leaving behind a note.
Para seguir escuchando este audiolibro gratuitamente, haz clic en el enlace de la descripción y podrás escucharlo completo sin coste gracias a la prueba de 30 días de Audible.